What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. So today is actually the last tradable day for SoFi before their upcoming Q4 earnings and also their 2022 annual earnings, and that is on January the 30th. So I do anticipate a lot of volatility, but based on the pre-market, it looks for the most part pretty flat, but it does want to go up. And based on the actual futures, everything is red. So it's trying to be very defiant right now, but like I said, I do anticipate a lot of volatility, more specifically during power hour. But I do want to give you a good overview of what the data points is saying and what to potentially expect from the upcoming earnings. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to the upcoming Q4 earnings, there was this that was posted by Christopher Hoger, who is, on the side note, very good and knowledgeable when it comes down to SoFi. So highly suggest popping over to Twitter and giving him a follow. But he did catch on the MasterCard earnings. They did, in fact, bring up SoFi. So I don't know if that is a precursor for something to come, but they are bringing up as far as that 4-pay option. So buy now, pay later. And I think right now for an institution to do that, when the economy is potentially heading to a very big recession, as what a lot of institutions love to say, it's interesting to see that SoFi is actually doing that. Because in theory, though, that is technically raising the risk. I know it is only limiting to about $500 per transaction based on my interpretation. I've read that, I think, when it initially came out, but $500, of course, they're just testing it right now. So anticipate a little bit more updates on the Q1 earnings, and especially if it is successful, for them to raise it and really push it all in. So my own interpretation on that, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. And same thing when it comes down to him, what he did post. He said for every $100 in deposits, it's actually worth $1.30 in yearly revenue for SoFi. So once again, that puts it in perspective, because based on the last 3 or 4 earnings or whatever it might be, their member growth was through the roof. And of course, when member growth goes up, so does deposits, so does product number growth, and all the actual good metrics that a lot of investors truly care about all goes up. So of course, in my own opinion, I think SoFi is a very big diamond in the rough that is going to very much be profitable for a lot of investors, especially for those at these levels right now. I still feel that this is very, very cheap to what it actually does offer. And in case you guys don't know, when it comes to upcoming earnings, there are several different things people do care about: earnings per share, revenue, and future guidance. So I'll give you a quick overview of what to expect. So coming from earnings per share, it does look like, based on 9 analysts, they gave an estimate of roughly about an average of negative 0.09 cents. Of course, in the past, SoFi has always fallen short on the earnings per share, and I think that is one thing that a lot of analysts love to take over and just give a little bit more of a lower price target because of a result of that. And when it comes to, for instance, revenue, as you can see based on the upcoming Q4 earnings, it is estimated, based on 6 analysts, to be $426.03 million. And when it comes to revenue, that is a little bit more of a different beast than earnings per share, because SoFi always far exceeds analyst expectations. As you can see, even based on Q3, it looks like that estimate was $392.76 million versus the actual $419.26 million. And same goes for the Q2, Q1. And keep in mind, SoFi's been technically functioning as a chartered bank for 1 whole year. So hopefully they do bring that up in the Q4 earnings. But like I said, it is most likely going to be their future guidance that a lot of people are very much listening to. Are they anticipating a recession? What are they trying to do to further mitigate any risk for its investors? And over and above that, what other projects are they thinking about adding? Are they really wanting to add on to the options aspect? Because I think the rollout of that, in my own opinion, was very much disappointing. Of course, when I did actually post that, a lot of you do disagree with that, but I did very much anticipate a full kind of aspect of like doing covered calls, selling, buying, both calls and puts, not necessarily just buying. So again, that's up to interpretation. Some people are very much happy about that, some people aren't. I do see on Twitter a lot of posts to SoFi or tagging SoFi saying, when are you going to be doing covered calls or whatever it might be? So definitely something for them to touch on in their upcoming earnings. So like I said, said, that's a pretty good anticipation or overview of things to know. Again, in the past though, SoFi has always said a lot of positive things, and for the most part, even though analysts jump on board, there's always around about 7 or 8 analysts that actually do come on, ask questions. SoFi earnings are very long, to be honest, in case you guys haven't participated, because the analysts, like I said, they ask so many questions. They all want to know, how is SoFi just doing positive, and so many positive things behind the scenes. But again, I do anticipate a lot of the questions to be very much oriented towards mitigation of risk. So hopefully Anthony is prepared for a lot of that. But based on the technicals, it is well above that 50-day moving average, which of course is that very big pivot point. And on the actual chart right now, it is actually flirting with that 200-day moving average. So technically, if there is some good earnings, that will be the indicator to push it very, very high, despite stochastic being at 86 and very considered overbought potentially. But I think behind the scenes, SoFi has been at a very substantial discount for a very long time, and hopefully it does break out, like I said, past the 200-day moving average and be able to trend up a lot more. Of course, if their earnings is fairly bad and if analysts do come on board and love to give lower ratings, such as you can see, Oppenheimer, JP Morgan given $6 ratings as of January the 25th and 17th, definitely that might not necessarily help SoFi as it has in the past, of course. But those are some good summary viewpoints of potentially what might be coming for SoFi and its investors. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Let me know your thoughts on upcoming earnings, if it's going to be a beat, if they're going to miss on certain aspects. And also on a side note, let me know if you want me to live stream the actual earnings as well. So I'd be more than happy to do that. But without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.